Michael Waltrip and Jimmy Spencer are here in studio. We thought we were done with Chad Knaus, but no. I got a text at 6 o'clock this morning. The winning crew chief from Phoenix is here with us. Chad Knaus in studio coming up on This Week in NASCAR.
Three-time Sprint Cup champion wins the third year in a row here at Phoenix.
For others, the hits just kept coming. After this incident in the nationwide race, Hamlin talks revenge.
But I'm just happy I signed up for next week's nationwide race. There's a lot of guys that have a lot of chips that they're going to cash in. I'm just going to be the first of the pay window.
Next stop, the last race in the chase. Do you remember who won the championship in 2004? We've got the answer. Twin starts in 30 seconds. This Week in NASCAR is brought to you by Geico. Hope you're having a great Monday evening. Glad you're with us here in the Speed Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm Steve Burns, proud to be joined by Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer. And as advertised, we thought we were done with Chad Knaus, but you are here. You have rearranged your schedule or something like that.
I didn't even know if I was going to be in town for this Monday night show, so I couldn't confirm that I was going to make it. Fortunately enough, I got home early with Mr. Hendrick and was able to make it.
Well, we're glad you're here. And Michael, as always, the staple, the anchor of the show.
Thank you. I want to tell you, as one person that isn't surprised Chad's here is me. How could he miss an opportunity to talk about himself for an hour? that has been presented to him. He took advantage of it. You didn't see him make a surprise visit last week after Texas, did you?
Are you suggesting he should have just popped in last week?
Well, I mean, you know, he's here, and we do have a lot of good things to talk about, not only Jimmy Johnson, but that entire 48 team. I think when you bounce back from adversity, that's a sign of true champions. And what they did this weekend after what happened the weekend before was simply amazing. Great job, Chad. See, it's already started. It's coming
There
from
we
me
go.
this time.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. It was a tough week, but we were fortunate to be able to get out there and qualify well. And you know, that's one of our better racetracks, so we were pretty excited to get going on.
I was broken running around, and Jimmy came by, and then like as slow as I was going, 2 laps, 3 laps later, here comes second place, and I called my spotter Ty. I said, "How do you get so far ahead?" He said, "Well," and he went into this long story. I said, "He's just faster than everybody else." Yeah, basically.
I could have said that and sped it up. Chad, we saw on the graphic, 25th or better will clinch your 4th consecutive championship.
That's a layup, ain't it, Chad?
See, it's already, you've already made him wince. But Chad, in victory lane.
Man, it's getting hot in here.
It is. Aren't you glad you're here?
Turn those lights down a little bit, Jeff. I mean,
I got to say something quick. The last time Chad was on the show, we were bragging about this major point lead, and Chad was off camera, and he was going, "No, it can't be." And you know what? You were right, Chad. It happened. The worst thing could have happened at Texas. So I agree with you right now. I would not say that this is a lock after what we saw happen at Texas.
absolutely. We lost 111 points in Texas, so we're only just over 100 ahead now. So we could. I mean, lap 3, you never know.
Chad, as Michael said, so many impressive things about the weekend, but I think to me the most important after the race in victory lane, Jimmy Johnson, I just think your team is about accountability because Jimmy said, I put this team in harm's way for not qualifying better at Texas. And to me, that speaks volumes not only about Jimmy Johnson, but your entire team because he said, hey, I'm taking responsibility for it.
Yeah, and that was kind of a group effort. You know, we were off a little bit for qualifying practice initially, and it took a little bit of time to get the car right. So Jimmy didn't have the confidence in the car that he needed, but the car was fast. We felt very confident going into race practice and then into the race and thought we were going to do well. But, you know, that's what happens. If the pit crew makes a mistake, they'll admit it. If I make a mistake, I admit it. Jimmy, you know, it just goes on down the line, and that's one thing. That's, you know, we're a team. You know, we're not a bunch of individuals. We're a true team.
Well, besides the domination by the 48 team, there was a lot going on at the Phoenix International Raceway. Here's this week's Radioactive.
Radio check 1 2. 10-4, got you. Check 1 2. I got you there. You got me okay?
Let's get ready to start a great race here today. Just remember, if we just do our jobs, everything will fall into place the way it should be. We just don't need to do
It's got to be Dale Earnhardt Jr., at least in his 2009 season.
Yeah, it seems so.
Both the 24 you see in the foreground there in the background is Denny Hamlin. Both cars tight. Wedge adjustment for the 11. He gets out before the 24th.
Let's get in your box. Let's not get half in, half out. I mean, screwing us over. Yeah, absolutely. He intentionally stopped short right there. I mean, if he wants me to stop long and force him long to where he gets blocked in by the one, we can play that game all day. Just ask Steve for a little courtesy. 10-4, I'm trying to get his attention. He won't even look over here.
You're a three-time champion. This is the way you're supposed to race. Jimmy Johnson comes to the line, winning for the 7th time this year.
Yes, 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 yes! Where'd that fight finish? The car finished 4th, but good job. 5th, excuse me. No, 4th, just 4th. Great job, Jimmy. Chad, great job, guys. Proud of all of you. Jimmy, fantastic job today, man. Absolutely, boys. Thank you. Exactly what we needed.
See, that is exciting. I mean, there's no question. First of all, I want to thank all the fans for coming out of Phoenix. What a great crowd. Awesome crowd. And that's what you get. You get this headset, you put it on, and you hear all this activity. You even hear Tony Stewart. Oh, boy. I'm not going no further. But you hear Denny talking about we could play this game on pit road and stuff. There's a lot of things that happen at the track that nobody can get information from unless you have that headset. Love that part of our show, and I think if you're a fan, when you go to Miami next week, get a headset, put it on, listen to your favorite driver. It's awesome.
Chad, you've had a few hours now to let the wind soak in. So what are your thoughts a little bit later after that race?
Man, great performance, obviously. You know, very, very proud of the way the team performed and bounced back. It would have been easy to have shown up in Phoenix with our tails between our legs and really get in a huge conservative mode and just make sure we finished right there with the 5 car, but that wasn't what we wanted to do. And we qualified great, had a great practice, and got in the race and really just ran our race. And things, fortunately enough, as the track started to change, it made a big swing towards the end of the event, and our car really came to us. And just couldn't be happier with the way everybody performed, really.
Mike,
But even
you look concerned.
Well, no, even in the dominant performance that Jimmy enjoyed, we saw him have an over a straightaway lead at one point. That dwindled to nothing. And that just goes to show you how intense and how tough this job is. The most dominant car wasn't the fastest car during part of the race. And you have to make minor adjustments. Sure. You have to watch the weather and see how all that's going to play into how your car handles. So while it was a dominant performance, it certainly was in doubt until the very end.
And they make it look easy sometimes, too, and it's not.
You really got to look at the Childress cars, man. They ran great. They did awesome on pit road. They made up a bunch of spots. Both those cars, the 33 and the 31 made a bunch of spots up on pit road. And that's difficult to do because to pass all those teams on pit road, I mean, I think the 33 made up like 4 or 5 spots in one stop. I mean, that's awesome. And
I think, Chad, you bring a point about Childress. I think that finally we're seeing a little bit of success. Richard said that they went the wrong way in the spring, and you're seeing where Jeff Burton finished second. You're starting to see the Childress resurgent, so that's going to be good for next year. And hopefully the Roush resurgent can come about next week here at Miami. Says, just make it a lot better for the fans.
Chad says, no, that's all right. Yeah. When we come back, a look at all the highlights from Phoenix, including this incident, which involved one of our panelists. Later, we'll take a look back to one of the most dramatic races in the history of the chase. That's Kurt Busch. Stick around. We'll be right back.
That was amazing.
That one in the chase.
This Week in NASCAR is presented by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Brought to you in part by Coparts.com, an online auto auction where you control the price you want to pay. Go to Coparts.com today. And by Wrangler, proud sponsor of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
Time now to get into the highlights from the Checker Auto Parts, O'Reilly Auto Parts 500 at the Phoenix International Raceway on a great 1-mile track. This race went green for over 100 laps, but after a restart on lap 119, Michael, they just piled up in front of you.
Yeah, a couple of people even passed me to get in the wreck. I thought I was running last, but I didn't have any power steering, and so going to the right without power steering is next to impossible with the way the front end's. I run a lot of caster in my front like Chad does, and I couldn't really get it to cut to the right. And so, I mean,
this is caster you guys running your car?
He's running like 10. This is one of the wrecks that is basically unavoidable for me. And we had a great car. I qualified in the 11th spot and ran in the top 15 the whole race, and lost our power steering just 50 laps into the race, but was still able to hang on and keep up. I've been working out. Thanks, Gio.
Michael, the caster's what's on the bottom of your shopping cart.
Yeah. See,
I always get that one that when you push it, it just
we put
shakes
a lot
all the
in
time.
both wheels because we heard you were, and it works. It's amazing. It's really helped us.
Michael, Michael, don't you notice at Phoenix, though, that happens a lot? The track is very narrow, you know, with the inside wall there. I think that's the worst track for restarts. We see that happen a lot there.
But you know, Jimmy, the fans that show up to watch these races, how cool is it when you double all those cars up? I was watching a restart from last year. The whole field was single file except 3 lap cars. And they say go, and that's cool and everything, but it sure isn't as cool as when you put them all side by side.
I have to say, though, I flew home Saturday night for Phoenix. You are a thing of beauty because I'm watching you interviewed, and I'm feeling all down. You know, Michael's crashed out. And I guess you're talking to Jamie Little, and you said, I'm going to go watch you all on TV now.
Yeah.
It was so sincere and so sweet.
Well, I just love my sport, man, and I like for people. I get so tired and of hearing about how bad everything is when I see how good everything is, and I don't know why. I guess maybe I look at things differently, but darn, we get to race cars, and we get to do it in front of thousands of people.
Millions.
And millions on TV, and it's just, I started out racing a car in Kentucky when maybe 400 people would show up to watch, and I didn't think I'd be any happier then than I ever could be, and now it's just awesome, so.
All right, let's move ahead to highlight number 2. Jimmie Johnson is leading at this point in the race. Time for green flag pit stops. It's the Geico greatest pit crew, and it goes to the 2 bunch. Chad, on this one, they get Kurt Busch out ahead of your team, but you guys retook the lead soon thereafter.
Yeah, those guys, it was fun to race with those guys all weekend long. You know, they definitely hit on some stuff, qualified very well, and they've got momentum on their side, and I think they're going to be a huge factor going into Homestead next weekend. I talked to Pat just before the beginning of the race, and I was like, man, you guys are doing an awesome job, you know, for what the circumstances are and what he's allowed to do with basically just calling the race and,
which means he can't
helping
go to the shop.
Right, he's not going to the shop at all. And I'll be honest with you, I really thought probably 2 weeks ago that he was probably going to end up leaving there because they hadn't been running all that good. And all of a sudden, man, they've just stepped it up and they're doing fantastic.
You know one shop he can come to.
MWR, maybe?
He can come over to mine anytime he wants to.
Hey, Chad.
No, wait a minute. Did the 2 qualified second, the 1 qualified? Oh, no.
That's the first time ever.
Same driver, and the driver wrong team.
There was
parts and pieces everywhere.
There's a lot of stuff scattered around, and most of it was near the front, and that was a good feeling.
Good.
But that was the first time ever the number 1 car qualified first and number 2 car qualified second. It's hard to believe.
Oh, wow, I never even thought of that.
But, Chad, you know, even though it's 300 laps, it doesn't seem to be that long. You had to make some adjustments, didn't you, as the race progressed with all the pit stops?
That's. I think it's a misconception that people have that, oh, it's just a short race, it'll be easy.
Yeah.
The shorter the races, the more difficult they typically are because it allows people to get out of sequence. The tracks typically change really quick, and you don't have time to have a bad run. You've got to stay on top of it, and we had to make some pretty significant changes. One of the things that is a real pain at the short tracks, and you know this, Michael, that if you qualify in the top 10, they impound your tires, and you have to start the event on your tires that you qualified, so that puts you at an immediate disadvantage at that point.
Why do they do that, Chad?
Because they're worried about people soaking their tires to make them go faster for a short run. When you soak the tire, it makes them a softer compound, and it goes faster for a short period of time. So they impound them, say, okay, if you want to soak them and you get away with it, then you have to start the race on them, which is a huge disadvantage. So we had to get those tires off the car, and then once that happened, we were running pretty well.
You know what's interesting, though, is Charlotte is a 1.5 miles, and we run about 30-second lap times, and we run 500 miles, and everybody says, that's a normal race. Phoenix is a mile, and we run about 30 seconds, and we run 312 laps. We run 330 some at Charlotte. So it really isn't that short of a race, maybe 20 laps or so shorter than Charlotte comparatively. And so there's a lot of stuff, Jimmy, and I know you know this, that has to go on during the course of one of these events. And the thing is, whether you're in a 600-miler or a 300-lapper, nowadays you can't make any mistakes at this level. It's just so hard to restart last and get to the front. Now, you've done it before. We've all had bad stops and things go on, and we've made it to the front. But every day that goes by, it gets harder and harder to be able to overcome that.
And the biggest reason is because the cars are so similar.
Right.
The cars are, they're identical. We just got a whole new rule pamphlet this week. Did you get that in your truck? Of all these things that we can't do now again in 2010 to take away. So the competition is going to get tighter and tighter and tighter, and it's going to be more difficult to pass.
Oh, whew. More changes. Let's go ahead, move ahead in the highlights now. This is fun. Kyle Busch gives Jeff Gordon a shot, sends Jeff up the track.
Not as fun as this is. Watch.
Yeah, Gordon gets up on the wheel.
All right.
And it's our Castrol Edge smart move of the race. And it goes to Kyle Busch because when Gordon catches him, Kyle gets out of the way.
Fans, I'm going to tell you something. That's an awesome move by a veteran driver. And for younger drivers out there watching this is how you retaliate. Say, listen, I didn't appreciate what you did. I'm going to retaliate. He didn't spin Kyle out, and he carried on with his business. He says, don't treat me that way. I can give it back.
Well, Kyle didn't mean to do what he did. He got loose underneath of him and hit Jeff, and it made Jeff mad, and Kyle realized that. So the best thing to do is just say, oops, sorry about that. To show you I'm sorry, here, take it back.
Coming off 4.
But I will almost bet you that the best Jeff Gordon got off turn 4 all day long was that lap. That just shows you when you put your brain to something. My gosh, I'm coming off this turn.
The lap tracker.
Yeah, that segment of that lap was the fastest anybody ever got off turn 4.
All right. Well, coming up next, was Dale Jr. at fault for the big wreck? Well, Tony thought so. We'll find out what the guys think after this. And Brad Keselowski bumped Denny Hamlin yet again in the nationwide race. A little more controversy. This Week in NASCAR will be right back.
The Greatest Pit Crew has been presented by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. The smart move of the race has been presented by Castrol Edge. Think with your dipstick. Upgrade to new Castrol Edge Advanced Synthetic. Nothing offers better wear and protection.
Well, here's the picture of Jimmy Johnson's 7th win of 2009. To enter the Picture of the Week giveaway, go to speedtv.com, click the Shows tab at the top. Go to the This Week in NASCAR page, and you'll see an email tab at the top. Put Phoenix in the subject line, and you're entered to win. Be sure to put your shipping address in the email. We'll reveal the winner next week. The Kurt Busch photo is going to Clarksville, Tennessee. All right, you guys ready to get back into the highlights?
Definitely, both feet.
Bring it on. Let's go. Well, the Roush Fenway teams didn't have that good of a day at Phoenix. Greg Biffle was the best in 14th. Carl Edwards in the 99 ended the day 16th. Matt Kenseth led a few laps during a round of green flag pit stops. He was 18th. Jamie McMurray in the 26th, 19th, and David Reagan 23rd. And I was talking about this earlier. It's just, I really thought that the 99 and perhaps the 16, Carl and Biffle, were going to be serious contenders with you guys this year. I really did.
I think they and we and everybody did. I don't really know what went on over there. I know that during the offseason they made a bunch of changes internally on the 99 car with car chiefs and some of the shot guys and things like that. I think shot guy actually went to the 18 car, and I know a bunch of pieces of the puzzle were moved around. And I know, when you do that, sometimes it takes a while for your whole team to regroup and get everybody on the same page again.
Michael, as a team owner, you've seen where you make changes that work and some changes that don't, but you can't sit still, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think as an owner I'm bold enough to come in and say, you go be that crew chief and you go be that one, and we're going to put these shot guys there yet. I don't feel like I know enough about the intricacies of what it takes to have success, to make those kind of moves. We see Richard Childress do that a lot. Roush is beginning to do it as well. So that's probably part of my future, and what I'm going to have to learn is as to how to adapt and adjust cars that aren't running like you hope they do. But a lot of times you might help a car, but you're going to hurt another one. So it's really difficult to make wide sweeping changes, in my opinion. We've just got our cars up and running, so we don't want to mess with them. We don't want to touch them. And hopefully we can just keep consistent and stay that way and keep our cars running better. But it's a risk when you move people around, for sure.
Well, from where I'm sitting, it's really weird because your head is on Jimmy Johnson's body, and it's like you're raising your arms.
Oh, I'm rich. I am now rich. Thank you very much.
You can't get the camera angle quite right.
No. Where I'm sitting, it's like Michael's a victory lane.
I think that, I was talking to Matt and a bunch of the Roush drivers, and they can't get the front end to hold. They can't get the front end to grip. And, I said it in the beginning of the chase that I didn't think they'd be a factor. They're still not a factor. And unfortunately for them, I don't think they're going to win next week at Miami as they have dominated in the past. Something's missing. And believe me, they're spending a ton of money trying to figure it out. And I hope they can figure it out before Daytona.
Well, we were practicing Saturday afternoon, and me and Carl had on the same amount of laps on our tires. And man, he just couldn't go. I mean, you could tell right then he was in trouble for Sunday. And like you said, you'd figure one of those cars would have contended and competed, but he just didn't have his car under him.
You know, you have to realize that these cars evolve quickly. And whenever there's a rule change or cars, you know, a new box or anything like that, things move very, very quick, and it's difficult. You know, what you had last year, people think, well, just run what you had last year. You ran great. It's not like that. It doesn't happen that way. Everything's moving. I mean, all of these companies have
tire construction.
Tires change, absolutely, and all of these teams, you know, have so many people, and a lot of smart people, that they're just constantly evolving this car and trying to make them better.
And plus, let me finish this thought. We're talking a tolerance on that splitter is just nothing. You want to get it right next to the ground, but you can't have it hit the ground. So that's the area in which you're working to try to perfect what you got. It keeps everything even, that splitter.
And the other thing, Michael, no testing. So I think without testing, a team that's struggling, it just gets tougher and tougher on them.
All right, lap 170, we saw this in our radioactive piece. Big wreck. Dale Earnhardt Jr. spins in front of a big pack of cars. He collects Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, Bobby Labonte, Joey Logano, and others. Take a look at some of the other replays.
It's just really hard to hold your car down there under that yellow line when you're up against another guy. It's bumpy down there, and when you're under another guy, you get loose. And that's just what happened. Dale Jr. hit the bumps and got sideways.
Jimmy, you've raced there. There's only 9 degrees of banking as well.
I agree with you, Michael. And the other thing, fans, you run these cars so free, you need every inch of room as you come off the corner to let your car sort of keep moving up the racetrack under power. And if you try to keep your car bound down, it looks to me like Junior kept a little bit of wheel in his car. Nothing he could do. Because like Michael said, there was a car outside him. And I think it was just a racing deal. And unfortunately, a lot of cars got collected in it. But let me say, Junior didn't go out there and say, hey, I'm just going to spin out and wreck everybody.
Another thing, we all mess up. Everybody spun out at one time or another. So there's frustration, whether you're Tony Stewart or Bobby Labonte, you're mad you're in a crash and you're going to vent. And Dale Jr. just was racing his car. It got away from him. We've seen that happen to the best of us.
And Tony vented.
He did.
I think it's cool. Listen to the scanner. You'll hear that stuff.
Oh, you think the radio stuff's cool?
Oh, the radio scanner's cool, man. I listen to one all the time.
All right, when we return, Denny Hamlin said he would get payback in the Homestead Nationwide race. We'll review the incident that got him fired up. And one owner has been to victory lane more times than anyone else at Homestead. Any idea who? We've got the answer in just a bit. Stay with us. This Week in NASCAR is brought to you by Geico.
15 minutes will save you 15%.
Excellent. Let's take a look at the point standings.
There's that yellow line again.
The yellow line has moved. It has moved, Michael.
I don't see how you can put the yellow line anywhere else but right there.
Why even have the yellow line? You know what the big story is this week, fans? It's not the points. I think you need to go to Miami and enjoy the race. I think it's going to be a great race. We've seen this race come down to start under the daylight, end under the night. And I think that you'll see an exciting race, and I think the 48 will run pretty good.
Well, you know, Friday night at Phoenix International, Kevin Harvick had a huge night. Not only did he win the Camping World Truck Series race, his driver, Ron Hornaday, picked up his 4th Camping World Truck Series championship.
Contact! Oh, and Kevin Harvick he got into the inside of the 15, and Harvick spins around to bring out our first caution. Eric Almirola with a 1.8-second lead over teammate Kyle Busch. Kevin Harvick's worked his way back up to the 8th spot.
He did not put tires on after he spun. He put them on just now, so he successfully overcame that spin early.
We saw the 33 is in front of the 88. That is all Ron Hornaday has to do tonight. Finish in front of the 88 to clinch his 4th championship in the Camping World Truck Series. Here comes Kevin Harvick looking to the inside of that 15 of Eric Almirola. He'll make the pass as they go into 3. White flag in the air, 1 mile to go from Phoenix. Problem on the racetrack. Taylor Malsum gets turned around. That will give the win to Kevin Harvick.
Ron Hornaday will be our 2009 Camping World Truck Series champion.
Double burnout here. Race winner and champion side by side.
Synchronized burnouts.
See Hornaday lock up the championship tonight and win the race. I don't know you can script it much better.
Ron Hornaday becomes NASCAR's oldest Tour Series champion. Ron, number 4. You worked hard for it all season long. How special is this one?
We're not done yet. We got to get that honors for Kevin and Delane, and this just is a compliment to the team. I know I didn't have a winning truck, but I had to play smart in points. But Grandma, I'm glad you're doing better, and glad you're at home, and we'll be home tomorrow and get ready for Homestead.
Kevin Harvick changed that whole race on Friday night. Everybody after practice on Thursday said, we got to work on our trucks. We'll never catch up with Harvick. He was that good in practice on Thursday, and the teams went and worked on their trucks more, trying to get good enough to race with him. And Kyle Busch got good enough to race with him, but he couldn't ever race past him. That was a dominant performance, and what a great night for KHI. To be standing in victory lane, winning the race, and then knowing your championship, you just won the championship as well. I'm sure Kevin and Delaney were quite proud of their organization Friday night.
Yeah. By the way, haven't you said that Phil Parsons is one of your best friends in the whole world?
He is.
He abused me verbally on the plane Saturday night.
Wow.
He's furious because we had some promos during practice on Saturday on speed for Friday at Homestead. He's like, yeah, way to go. No promo for practice Thursday on speed at Homestead Miami Speedway. I said, I'll let your best friend Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, but
we're going to set the stage.
But Phil has to understand, the fans tune in to speed at all times, so he shouldn't get that worried.
Well, Thursday night, we're going to set the stage for the race in Homestead on Friday night.
At what time?
For the trucks. In the evening. But I will tell you, let me tell you one thing about
Michael.
Something about Phil. I think it's around 6:30. I'll tell you something about Phil. He was angry this weekend for some reason.
Edgy.
He was. He yelled at me 3 or 4 times during the truck broadcast.
Might have a splinter in his toe or something. You know.
Yeah, he had something going on.
All right, well, let's see the promo for Friday, not Thursday at 6:30, but the Camping World Truck Series season finale at 7:30. And you can talk about Thursday then, too, if you'd wish. Just Phil won't.
I just like practice. I like to be able to talk about things the teams are going through and getting ready for the race. So Thursday, I'm going to talk about practice with Phil and Rick.
There you go, Phil.
On speed. I hope he's happy now.
Yeah, I hope so, too. A Saturday at the Phoenix International Raceway, Carl Edwards won the Able Body Labor 200. That's not easy to say. And Kyle Busch just missed clinching the nationwide championship, but everybody, including us, will be talking about the controversy, Jimmy Spencer, between Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski.
Trouble. And it's Kyle Busch, our points leader. Yikes. I don't know if he just got the left front into the wall there as he slid across. It looks like maybe Kyle just got loose coming up out of turn 2. Difficult part of the track. Yeah, he gets loose and then, yeah, the 29 gets into him just barely, but Kyle was the one already out of control. Very difficult exit at turn 2.
Yeah, they're just going to fix the big things first. Try to get this left front fender clear of the tire. They're working on that rear bumper. Need to attach it so it doesn't come loose and get to where they'll get black flag.
Well, here's 5 more bonus points right here that Carl gets for leading that lap. So it's now Edwards followed by Hamlin. Kyle Busch has worked his way up to the 8th position. Here comes Kyle. Hang on.
Contact.
Oh. Brad says, excuse me, pardon me, I want to play through.
Yeah, and here comes Kyle Busch.
Oh, he turns Hamlin. Gets into Hamlin. Look out. Remember, these guys have history from before, and he keeps it off the wall.
Now, that's definitely contact from that 88 car Brad Keselowski in the left rear, Denny Hamlin.
That just looked like a lot of history is what that looked like.
Ooh, baby.
2 guys that hadn't forgot.
The 88 just flat out jumped the 20. He tried to get into turn 3 and missed, so he throttled up and drove into him in the center of the corner. What is wrong with that kid?
Here comes Carl Edwards for his 25th Nationwide Series win in his 175th start. Kyle Busch comes home in 9th, which is not enough to clinch it for the championship.
Oh, there we go.
It did a somersault.
That's all you get.
That is cool what Carl Edwards did, because he couldn't do his normal backflip because he has that hurt ankle. But Carl had a dominant car there that day, and he deserved that win. And, you know, he's going to be second in the championship. But I want to get back to that incident with a certain driver again. You know, here it is, fans. Watch this. You see the 20 car bump the 88. Well, then the 88 comes down the back straightaway, and I agree with what he does. He hits the 20 car going into turn 3. Now, that should be over. He should say, hey, listen, a.k.a. what Jeff Gordon did. But that kid deliberately spins out the 20 again. Well, here it is. Bam, okay. That is enough. No, not for this guy. He's not done yet. He runs in to Denny Hamlin again. And I just have to tell you, luckily, I'm not in control because I'd have parked him for the day. Yeah, he's going to hurt somebody, Michael.
Did he get penalized for that?
No. And
he got called to the NASCAR.
My point is, Michael, he's done it at Dover. He's done it to the 12 car at Bristol. He's done it a lot of the times this year. I'm not against anybody being aggressive. I was very aggressive as a driver, and Dale Earnhardt was. There's a lot of drivers who were. My point is do it the way Jeff Gordon did. say, listen, guys, I don't appreciate it. I could do this too. And then you don't tear a car up. He tore the 20 car up again. That's my problem with this guy. I know NASCAR had to talk with him. Hopefully it'll get straightened out.
And Brad said he's proud of NASCAR for doing that.
The kids, I ain't going to go no further. I'm not saying no more.
I bet you do.
I bet you do. Hey, catch NASCAR Race Hub here on Speed every Monday through Thursday at 7:30 Eastern. Casey Mears and Justin Allgaier will be here in the hub later this week. And Chad was just on. When we come back, the guys
on tonight.
He was fantastic. The guys will fill us in on what makes Homestead unique. You don't want to miss that. Plus, our man Biff won 3 races in a row at Homestead. We'll look at all the winners coming up. The season finale for all 3 series is at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Now, that racetrack opened in 1995. It was a smaller version of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The track has been reconfigured twice since then. Let's hear what the drivers think about Homestead Miami.
Homestead, it's in Miami, you know, nice fun in the sun. It's a beautiful night race, and it's championship weekend, so there's always a big buzz around. It's always a lot of excitement.
Homestead Miami Speedway is really our only true progressive banking racetrack we go to. The further up the racetrack you get, it gains a little bit of banking, so you can really slide job the guy coming off the corner.
You can run from the top to the bottom. You can make a lot of moves with your car. You can really change the handling of the car and the way it handles. You know, it is the end of a long season, so it's nice to see it coming.
I don't think there's actually any place we could go to for a season finale that'd be any better. It's a great facility. It's in a great location. The weather is almost always great there. You can start in the afternoon. I think we start at 3:45, and it goes into the dusk time hours. I mean, it's a great place to go race. If you look at the racetrack itself, it's a lot different than any other racetrack that we go to. You almost drive into the banking later around the corner than what you do at the other racetracks. It's very unique to try to get the car set up. Another thing is it doesn't have a tri-oval or a dog leg. It's got 2 straight straightaways. That's kind of funny. But it's got 2 straight front straightaways and back straightaways. So it's a lot different than what we typically work with. I think that if you watch as this race progresses going into the later hours of the day, the speeds will pick up and the aggressiveness will get a lot higher towards the 400-mile mark.
Michael, you talk about drivers enjoying racetracks where you have options, and it seems like Homestead provides that.
Yeah, but you know, the track is a little strange. I mean, it's cool, and you see, and drivers adapt to strange. I mean, strange is good.
You'll fit in nicely.
Yeah, I'm fine. But the thing I'm saying, it's you almost go down in that corner, and like Chad said, you run in deep and you let off, and you sort of search for a groove. There's a lot of stuff goes on at that racetrack, and you never really feel like you've got 100% handle on things at Homestead. I've talked to some of the other guys, and they feel the same way. That's why I think you see a lot of times guys just roll in right next to the fence. That's something they can predict. Once they get up there, it's pretty much the same banking. But I'm not kidding you, Steve. You go in low, there's just some transitions that makes driving the corner more challenging than normal.
I agree with Chad. It is a fabulous facility, though. It is a beautiful place to celebrate a championship. Let's take a look at the...
You're not getting anything. I'm not biting, man. I'm not biting.
And as Jimmy said, it's been a great racetrack for Roush Fenway. Last 5 races.
Yeah, but Tony Stewart, you see him winning there. That's when the track was the original configuration. And boy, remember that he had that Home Depot car. He was dominant there for some reason. And then they went on to change it. Bill Elliott won the same characteristic. He won Miami. He won Indy that year. But I agree with you guys. I think Miami's different, Michael, but I think that's what I love about, I'm tired of hearing them. Oh, Atlanta and Charlotte and Miami, these are all the same racetracks, and fans, they are not the same racetracks. Like you said, Chad, each one has its own characteristics, each one has its own difficulties of setting up. I love the nightlife of Miami, too.
Yeah, it's fun. South Beach, they've got good restaurants there. I ran across Jimmy Johnson at Texas and congratulated him on the year and the championship and told him that I'm in his corner as being one of the greatest race car drivers ever to be in one of these cars. And he's like, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I basically did what we did to Chad 2 weeks ago and told him, the championship's yours. Congratulations. He's like, thank you. It's fun. I'm happy. Everything's going good. And then on lap 3, when he crashed, I bet he was thinking, that damn Michael.
You jinxed him.
What did he tell me all that for? Why do I have to live this world? Because he was really looking forward to going to Miami with a championship locked up. But 25th or better, if you have an accident, You can't finish 25th or better nowadays.
No.
So it's still, if you ask me.
Can we move on?
Good restaurants, right?
The restaurants are great.
Hey, watch this, fans. We're going to promote my show.
Oh, for the final time of 2009, Spence.
Hey, 3-hour show on Sunday. You got Steve Burns, Jeff Hammond.
Yes,
You're
sir.
going to have Larry McReynolds, Kenny Wallace, Wendy Ventrini, John Roberts.
Handsome Hermie Sadler.
Hermie Sadler. Wow, that's awesome. I'm going to skip this week, fans, so don't tune in.
All right, up next, a recap of the 2004 Homestead race. You scared me, Spence, where 3 of the 5 drivers battling for the championship finished in the top 5. And Jimmy Johnson doesn't have a great record at Homestead, but he's never really had to win there. Homestead stats coming up. Well, check out this fancy autograph board with signatures held by our hand model, Michael Waltrip. All the personalities appearing on This Week in NASCAR in 2009, including the King Richard Petty, NASCAR President Mike Helton. You can bid on this autograph board on eBay starting next Monday, November 23rd. Search Twin Autograph Board once the auction starts. That's Twin Autograph Board. All proceeds will go to the Victory Junction Gang Camp. And last year we did it and raised about $4,000.
For that, not too shabby.
Yes, sir, we did.
Wow.
All proceeds go to the Victory Junction Gang Camp. All right, here's how your Chasers do at the Homestead Miami Speedway. And we told you earlier, Greg Biffle has won, or did win, 3 in a row there. He's always good.
Did you hear Chad? He said, for that?
That?
No, it's a great board. I mean, it's just amazing that people really want to spend that much money for Michael's autograph.
For a good cause, though.
It is.
Been signed
but
a long time.
with your name on there, that really helps.
What's look at that fucking Michael.
I got caught looking at myself. I'll be darned.
Oh, I'm getting lightheaded.
Oh,
well, all right. Well,
sick.
You're right. The 2004 race at the Homestead Miami Speedway featured 5 guys racing for the championship. You might remember Kurt Busch having a loose wheel. Here's a look back. It was a wild one.
An entire season's work is on the line today. 5 drivers are still eligible.
Like what we talked about, go out there, have a good time. Got 267 laps, get this thing up to the front. Worked hard all year long. Let's get this championship done here today, guys.
267 laps, 400 miles. The Ford 400 is underway.
Greg Biffle giving the 97 car plenty of room, getting into turn 1. Oh, we got trouble already.
Cars in the wall. It's toward the back of the field. Johnson got through. Wow.
Well, there's one lucky episode.
The field is frozen, so Kurt crosses the start-finish line as the leader, receiving 5 bonus points.
That'll be the easiest 5 points he gets today.
Pace car's off, going back green.
So here we go for a pass per lead. Biffle's going to take it.
Stayed on the lead lap. 1 lap to go. That's going to be a green flag on 269.
Jeff Gordon starts in the 4th position. Robbie Loomis just told him, a win can still do it for you.
Ready, green flag.
And looking for the lead on Tony Stewart. Johnson 3 wide to the outside. Kurt Busch in 5th. If he stays there, he wins the title. Checkered flag is up. Greg Biffle wins the Ford 400. Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon finish 2nd and 3rd. It's not going to be enough. Kurt Busch is the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion.
Just like how we always say, every point counts in this industry. Every single point. Right there, the 97 car stayed out under caution to lead a lap, and they got their 5 bonus points, and then they finished 2 cars behind us in the final running order of the race, and we lost the championship to the 97 by 8 points. If they hadn't stayed out, or if they had finished 1 spot further back, we would have won that championship. Or if we could have won the race, and we didn't. I mean, we finished second, but it's just so close.
If his wheel falls off 1 second later, he hits that wall. He was so fortunate.
And the other thing, Michael, not just if the wheel falls off later, if it goes down pit road instead of staying out on the track, no caution comes.
Yeah.
He loses a lap, and we don't have the lucky dog. We don't have the Aaron's lucky dog at that time. Holy cow. He might never get the lap
and
back.
those guys did a good job.
They did a great job.
The wheel was loose.
Messed up their hub.
Right, the wheel was loose, so it was wobbling back and forth, messed up the studs on there. They came back in a bunch of times, chased the studs. They did a great job of repairing that car, and that's why they deserved to win that championship, because they did right.
But that brings me to Texas. That's why you guys spent an hour in the garage to pick up, what, 12, 15 points?
Every point matters. Every point. If it's leading a lap, leading the most laps, winning a race, or every position, it matters.
All right, when Twin returns, emails about that 48 team working on the car after wrecking at Texas. Got lots of emails about that. We'll answer them next. You're watching Twin. Look at all the programming we have for you at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Thursday, the Champions Press Conference, and for Mr. Phil Parsons, final practice for the final race of the year for the Camping World Truck Series at 6:30. Coverage begins Friday at 11 a.m. here on Speed. In fact, we are having a special trackside Saturday night at 7:30 in addition to our normal show.
Can I come?
What?
Can I come? I want to come to trackside.
What do you got? What do you got?
I'll bring you a present.
Like?
Easy Grill. Have you heard of it?
No.
Go to easygrill.com. It's the coolest thing ever. $4.99 for the regular size, $9.99 for the party tray. Lights with one match, cooks for an hour and a half. I've been cooking on it for a week. It's so cool. Get you one. $4.99 and $9.99. $9.99
for a week?
Well, it doesn't stay on for a week. It stays on for an hour and a half. But if you have enough of them, you can cook for a week. $4.99 or $9.99 at Walmart. You've got to get one, Steve. Go to easygrill.com.
You got me, camera guy? You got me?
Is anybody with me? Do I sound like Billy Mays or what?
ShamWow. Time now for the ZMAX Fuel for Thought email segment. 2 damaged race cars that return to the track after repairs have to pass inspection before returning to the race, Michael.
No, you just want to get them sanitary. You want to get them where they'll run the minimum speed. There is a minimum speed time that you have to run around the racetrack. Sunday it was 32.60, I think, and at Texas it was probably right around that same time. And Chad and the boys did a good job of making sure it was all put together, nothing flew off of it. He could make the laps. That's the only thing that matters.
Second question kind of ties into Texas. Chad, do crews practice or rehearse working on the car after a crash? The crash thrash, as it were.
Crash thrash, absolutely. We do that quite often. And if we have a car at the racetrack, like this car right now, for instance, we brought it back to the shop and we had the guys practice taking the car the rest of the way apart to cut the body panels off us, try to figure out ways to be more efficient in that. And we come down pit road, we check tow, we do a lot of different things. So we practice as much as we possibly can for all those situations.
Are you gonna get some Easy Grill glasses?
Estrada, okay? Endorsing products you believe in.
This week in NASCAR, we'll be right back.
What world?
This Week in NASCAR is presented by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Brought to you in part by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. And by Copart.com, an online auto auction where you control the price you want to pay. Go to Copart.com today.
Hey, don't forget our coverage beginning Thursday at 1 here on Speed. And Chad, it really is your last show. And best of luck this weekend from all of us.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for the last show.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all got to see Chad again.
I hope you fans are enjoying this show as much as I am.